welcome back to Dancer Diaries and to today's video, which is something that I probably should have done a while ago, and it's all about how to choreograph belly dancing. I know often we have to improvise in our style of dance, and improvising is really important, but choreographing is beautiful as well. So I can't say the best way to choreograph, but I can tell you the way that I choreograph and what I find works for me. So if you're new to Belly Dancer Diaries, welcome. Please make sure you check out my videos. I have lots of tutorials about belly dancing technique, as well as discussions about being a belly dancer. Make sure you subscribe too, then you can be notified of when new videos are released. So number one, when I am choreographing, firstly, I choose what kind of style I would like to do. I do this before even looking at music or anything. I think about, okay, what style of dance or performance do I want to do? So the style, firstly, there can be lots of different dances who you can be influenced by, but try and stay true to yourself too. I've had another video that I've done that is all about style and finding your own style. If you feel really comfortable in your own style, that's awesome. Stay in your own style. If you're still figuring out your own style, maybe that video will help. Otherwise, yeah, I'd love to hear your comments as well about finding your own style. But for me, I'm quite clear on my own style, but I also know that I have a lot of things to work on. The number one thing is to work out, okay, what type of feeling do I want from this dance? Where might I perform it? What type of things would those people be looking for? So for example, if I'm performing two belly dancers, the type of performance style I would do would be very different to performing at a wedding or a concert where no one has seen belly dancing before. So number one, I keep that in mind. Number two is that I look for music that fits with that style and what I want to achieve. So you might want something modern, you might want something more classic, listening to different music. The way I choose it is based on, again, what I want to achieve, but also music just that I like, and also something that's interesting. So with some music, you can see that it has a very set beat throughout the whole thing. Might not be very interesting, you might not get many ideas. One thing that's really beautiful about Arabic music is that it changes a lot, and I like those dynamics within the dance because it gives me different inspiration, so it's always fresh, and every 20 seconds or 30 seconds something new is coming on that's exciting, and for me that's the style of music I really enjoy. But you might be someone who is beautiful at doing something slow and romantic and soft the whole way through, and you might be able to get really into that, doing something that's very similar the whole way through, but giving your own changes to it and making it really beautiful. So again, stick with your style and what you'd like to achieve. The next thing I do is understanding the music. So if there's lyrics, obviously I look up the lyrics, I ask people about the lyrics, try and find really good translations, but also think about it and work out what that lyric means to me. So everyone, of course, has different experiences in their lives, different forms of art, different interpretations. It's all very subjective, but it's nice to understand what the song is saying so that then you can work out, yes, this is how this makes me feel, and this is the type of thing that I would want to dance to and would work well with what I'm trying to achieve. So once I have the music, the style, and I understand the song, I then do it section by section. So I start at the start unless there's a long introduction. Sometimes I'll skip the introduction or do the introduction later if it's something where I might just be walking around, something like that. But if there's a clear starting point, then that's where I start from. Then comes the tricky bit. So it's really nice just to improvise, play around with the music, but usually what I personally do is sit down and listen to that little phrase again and again and again. Usually the very first time I listen to it, moves are coming through my head thinking, oh yeah, that would go nicely with that, that would go nicely with that, that would go nicely with that. What I do is I then write it down, and that depends on how complicated the music is. If it's something like Enter Omri, where the music is changing all the time and you want to hit set beats, then I'll actually try and write it down of what the beat sounds like to me, and write every little section in terms of the beats, and then under that I'll write the move with each one. If it's something with a very set beat that doesn't change much, then I might write the line and just say go with the beat, or the move, just say go with the beat. And if there's a melody that's very clear, or if I'm moving to the melody, I might just say move to this part, or when they say this, or when they do that, so that the writing of the moves fits with the music, because otherwise you might look at it afterwards, because there's a lot to take in, and think, oh, I said to do this, but what's the timing for this, or how do I do this, which part did it go for? So if you are working with a complicated piece of music, I know for me what really works is to write down the music in my own words, how I see it, and then write under each little piece. So if the beat is dum dum duck duck, I've written dum dum duck duck, and under each dum dum duck duck, I've written what move I'm going to do or how I'm going to approach it. When I am choreographing section by section, I try and get one section perfect first, or close to perfect, and then move to the next section. And when I'm doing the moves, there are 5 main things that I look at. So firstly, what my feet are doing. Secondly, what my hips are doing. Sometimes chest as well. I don't really, I'm more hips dominant, I guess, than chest dominant, but you would look at your chest as well in a similar way you'd look at your hips if you're doing lots of chest moves. I would then look at my hands and my arms, and then also my face. So which direction are you going to be facing, how are your hands going to be moving, how are your arms going to be moving. But I always start in that order. So feet first, then hips or chest, and then going through the other sections. When you are choreographing, it's really nice to have variation, or that's what I like to have in my style at least. So again, if I have music with variation, then it helps me to have variation in my choreography. It's great to have something that changes in dynamic, because it can make it more interesting for your audience, but also more interesting for you. And then you can do lots of different moves with different dynamics. I feel that the dynamics are very important for me. So if I feel the dynamic coming up, that my hands are coming up, I'm excited, I'm bringing up, but then it's also good to come down. Other things to look at when you're choreographing are your floor plan, but also the levels of your body. So it's beautiful in some circumstances to stand in one spot, be still on the spot, or not still, but still in your feet, but just moving the other parts of your body as you dance. But if you have a very big floor for you to dance on, it can look a little bit strange if you're just standing in the one spot all the time. So think about, where are you going to face? Where is your audience going to be? Which direction can you go in? Think about props as well. If you're dancing with a veil, you might walk forward, but it doesn't really work walking backwards with a veil. So think about those kind of things as well, but keep it interesting for your audience too. So if you're just dancing for one table and there's all these other people around you who don't get to see your dance up close, it's much nicer if you move from one to the other. Sometimes you can even repeat the same section if the music repeats itself, but do it to one side and then the other side. That's a really nice way to choreograph. And then again, with levels of the body, if you're up tall all the time, it can be beautiful, but as well, you might want to come down to the floor, not necessarily on the floor, but like drop down, come up high, bring your arms up, bring your arms down, bring your arms out. Think of all the different directions you can move with your body as well as in the space. So then what I do is I video it. So I've written it all down, I video it. I don't typically video the whole thing at the start. I usually video sections that I'm not sure about. So if there are certain parts where I'm like, I'm just not happy with how this is going to the music, it just doesn't seem right, then what I might do is I'll take a video of me doing that part, I'll look at it and I'll say, oh yeah, that's why it doesn't work. It's because my hands are in a weird position. And then I'll test different positions of my hand, keep videoing them, and then say, oh, okay, this one, I like it, I'm going to do this one. I then do video the whole thing as well, because then it's a really nice way to remember it, because even though you've got all your notes years to come, it can be quite confusing going through your notes with the dum dum duck ducks and all the writing, and it's good to be able to have it in a video format too. So yes, after that, the next thing I do is practice. I practice practice it a lot until it's really in my muscle memory. As I've said in past videos, I find it very hard to remember choreography, even if it is my own choreography, even if I hear the piece of music and think, oh, of course, this move would go with this, even if the choreography is really natural to my thinking and emotion and the way that I would move with the music, I still need to practice because I still find it difficult to remember. The next thing I do, which is a very important step, is I perform it to my friend Patricia and ask her for advice. So hopefully you all have a friend Patricia, someone who is really open and lovely, but also knows about belly dancing and has a good eye for things like floor pattern, where you are in space, different dynamics of the music, and also knows you well, so knows your style well, to be able to suggest, oh, I think maybe you should do this instead, or this move would look better like this, or have you thought of doing this, giving you different ideas, but also giving you that endorsement to say, yep, what you've done here is good, I like it, maybe you can add this in, just giving you different ideas. Choreographing is something really personal. Dancing is very personal, but it's always good to have somebody else's opinion, just to see if certain things do or don't work, and to get new and innovative things to put in as well. So after that, after you've asked Patricia, got her feedback, incorporated your feedback, I then think about what costume I'd like to wear. So sometimes the dance and the way you would do it depends on the costume. So if it's something really floaty and flowy, you might want to wear like a long skirt and be moving and using that skirt. If you saw my belly dancing without borders video, you can see I used the skirt in that. I knew I was going to wear that skirt, and so I was able to incorporate that in the choreography in different parts as well. Once you have your costume, once you have your choreography, you've practiced it, you have your expression. Some people practice expression as well. They might try different things with different sections of the music. I don't really do that. For me, I generally feel happy when I'm dancing. So it's actually something that I have to work on, is being able to have different levels of expression, different types of expressions when I'm dancing. I find it very hard to move to sad music just because I'm not a sad person. So it's very hard for me to do that. But if that's something that you want to do, then I recommend put it in, work on that expression, and even choreograph your expression as well. And then finally it comes to the performance. So when you're performing, it depends what you're performing for. So often I will choreograph something minutely to the T, and then when I'm performing it on the day, all these other different ideas come out and I end up doing them instead, which can still lead to a beautiful performance when you're really in the moment. You might suddenly do something that's totally different to your choreography but works beautifully with the music that you hadn't thought of before. And so that's when all the magic happens. So I hope this video has helped you if you are choreographing something new. I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to see your videos. If you've just put a choreography together, send it through, send me a link, or write it in the comments below. We'd love to see it. And as always, happy choreographing and happy dancing.